He's probably the most important man living in Las Vegas since Steve Wynn. It's Todd Fuhrman, our sports betting analyst, and it's Todd's Odds brought to you by FanDuel. Todd, Terry Pegula held what a lot of people thought was a bizarre press conference this week as Sean McDermott has been fired as head coach of the Bills. Now, according to FanDuel, Brian Daboll is the favorite to coach this team. Seahawks offense coordinator Clint Kubiak is also up there. That's a favorite of Luke Wilson, and current Bills offensive coordinator Joe Brady. My question for you is, who would you pick to coach the Buffalo Bills?
I mean, the bottom line is this, Jay. Be careful what you wish for in the National Football League. Bills fans wandered aimlessly through miserable winters year after year after year with a 17-year playoff drought before Sean McDermott was able to get him into the postseason back in 2017. Now, of course, they never realized the success that I think Bills fans would have preferred with him and Josh Allen as a tandem, and it's much easier to part ways with a head coach than it is a starting quarterback. For me, I do think the Bills are headed in the right direction. Brian Daboll has a high level of familiarity with Josh Allen, helped work through some of those accuracy issues that were a legitimate concern when they drafted him out of Wyoming. And Clint Kubiak is no doubt the hot name in the sport right now, and you can understand that level of excitement and optimism that he could bring to Buffalo. I think either of those guys would put them in a good spot to win a few more games next year. I'm a little bit skeptical of Joe Brady being ready to lead a team himself, so I'd be comfortable with Brian Daboll or Clint Kubiak being the next head coach of the Buffalo Bills.
Last week, we finally convinced you to give us a Super Bowl pick. That pick was the Los Angeles Rams after they survived the Panthers in the wild card and then survived the Bears in the divisional round. Now they will face their arch rivals, the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC West, their arch rivals in the NFC Conference Championship. Are you still picking the Rams to win it all, Todd?
Look, Jay, I've made a lot of predictions on this show. Plenty of them have been incorrect, and I really thought the 60-minute sample size for the Rams, you were going to get last laugh if they got dispatched by the Chicago Bears as a 3.5, 4-point favorite when you see those heroics from Caleb Williams. Fortunately, the Rams persevered, and here we are with a familiar foe, as you outlined. The Rams modest underdogs on the road, and I really believe, as we have full-blown chaos here, being attacked by Rams fans as we go, that the Rams are going to have an excellent opportunity to represent the NFC and get to the Super Bowl and have a chance to win in yet another NFC West rivals building in the form of the 49ers. I'm not getting off the Rams bandwagon. Been on it for a week, Jay, and I'm going to stick it out until the bitter end.
You are a smooth broadcaster, my friend. The biggest home underdog ever in a conference championship game, 2012. Falcons were 4.5-point dogs to the Niners. Falcons lost the game but did cover the spread in a 4-point loss. Now, this is why I'm mentioning this, Todd. The Broncos are a 4.5-point home dog to the Patriots this Sunday, and no one knows what to expect from Jarrett Stidham. Are you expecting a Broncos victory at home?
I'm not sure, Jay, even Jarrett Stidham knows what to expect from Jarrett Stidham on a stage of that magnitude as a home underdog against the New England Patriots. But given the pleasantries and the level of familiarity we've at least been given an indication exists between him and head coach Sean Payton, if he's calling him Stiddy, that's good enough for me to be able to make a case to back the Broncos as a 4.5-point underdog. I'm not sure they're going to have enough to get this thing across the finish line, but this is where that heralded Broncos defense that hasn't been as lights out over the last couple of weeks as you'd like to see has to earn its keep. And look, this Patriots side has struggled mightily despite racking up a pair of wins against the Chargers and Texans at home. Drake May hasn't exactly been great with ball security. I think the Broncos are live underdogs as long as you're getting 4.5 points or more. We've seen home underdogs fare exceptionally well this postseason, and I think that trend continues at Invesco Field.
Todd, you were in the house last week when Mitchell Marner and the Las Vegas Golden Knights defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs. And, of course, Mitchell Marner will be in Toronto Friday night with the Golden Knights to face the Leafs. Will the Knights pull it off again for Mitchell, Todd?
Let me just say, Jay, sitting at the end where the Golden Knights were able to erase that multiple goal deficit and win that game in overtime, that was one of the most impressive back checks or lack thereof that I've ever seen from Austin Matthews. It felt like me trying to dog the end of my drills going through preseason conditioning. The reality of it is I think the Leafs are in trouble tomorrow night. Vegas, of course, stubbed its toe and then some, losing the first end of a back-to-back against the Boston Bruins. They spotted them 4 goals, had a battle back, coming up just short of 4-3. But this is more about what the Leafs may not have in terms of injuries. I'm not expecting Oliver Ekman-Larsson to be out there. Brandon Carlo's status remains very much in doubt. William Nylander appears a little bit of ways away, dealing with that groin injury. And I think you're going to get the absolute best from the Vegas Golden Knights. One thing, though, I do have to give Leafs fans a ton of credit for. They booed, and they booed loudly every time Mitchell touched the puck. I have to imagine it was a much more electric atmosphere in Vegas with Leafs fans cheering, because we know you can often hear a pin drop when the Leafs play home games in front of their own fans.
Oh, that sounds like a dare, like a test for Leafs Nation. Let's see if Leafs Nation shows up in their own barn the way they did in Todd's barn, just on the strip there in Las Vegas. This is Todd Fuhrman. This has been Todd's Odds.